It's Good Day New Mexico.
No, it's Good Evening New Mexico. With Casey Messer.
And Dan Gutierrez.
Hey, look at us. We're so fancy.
You and your velvet. Oh.
All right, good evening, New Mexico. Yes, Dan the Movie Man and I are super happy to be with you. The last show of the year. High five this one out.
Boom,
Dan.
look at that. All right, so I know you just saw the news and you're kind of waiting around for that ball to drop. But here's some special things that happened on our show, Good Day New Mexico, over the last year.
A little bit of Hollywood came through good old Good Day New Mexico. We had to keep this a top secret. Most of us did. We didn't blast on social media like we could have.
It happened at the end of last year, so it kind of is a 2015 thing, but we wouldn't say anything until early this year.
Yeah.
But here it is. It's a clip from the entire cast of Independence Day rolled through our studio. See if you can spot all of them. Yes, even Liam Hemsworth is in there.
Howdy.
Keep an eye out for that.
Very cool.
I know. All right, that shoot was really amazing, and here's why. There was a moment that I will always remember, is that Jeff Goldblum, when he was in the studio, everyone was talking, there was like 30 or 40 people in our very small studio, and he stopped as everyone was talking, trying to get set up. He was like, hey, everybody, please be quiet. He stopped everyone. They looked over, and he pointed at one guy, Levy. He works here over at KOB.
Yes, we
and they
love
pointed at him,
Levy.
and he was like, you, what is your name? And he stops. The room is dead quiet. All eyes are on Levy and Jeff Goldblum. And Levy's like, I'm Levy Duran. And Jeff is like, you're doing an excellent job.
Oh, and you know, that
you are
is no
doing
joke.
a fantastic job.
Levy is amazing. He does an excellent job. You don't see him behind the scenes, but he makes things happen at KOB.
And it was absolutely true. Everyone just like looked at him and
Absolutely.
humbled. It was a great moment that I remember from
Very
that.
cool. Okay, so let me get to one of my favorite interviews from 2016, Michael Rosenbaum. If you guys have not seen him pastor on TV Land, you gotta catch up. It's an awesome show, half hour, 10 episodes. And let me tell you why I loved this interview. He was so sweet and down to earth. And a lot of times, I would say most of the time, actors are pretty chill. They've been doing these interviews maybe for 6 hours, 6 a.m. to noon. And sometimes they're not excited. They've been getting the same questions over and over, but Michael Rosenbaum was a dear, dear sweetheart. So take a look at our interview from him, Pastor.
Casey, lovely and talented, huh? Are you single?
You know what? I'm not single, but I have some great single friends.
Do you? That's what all single women or all women who are married say.
Right.
I have single friends, but it never works out. You know how that is. It just never works out.
Let's tweet about it later. It'll work out, okay?
Yes, we'll do that.
Let's talk for a second. Gay pastor, drugs, murder. This doesn't sound like a package on TV Land. And there was some not so love for TV Land when you first heard of this crazy concept, right? But how do we feel about TV Land now?
You know, remember AMC?
Yeah.
And they used to show like old movies, but now they have Mad Men and Walking Dead and all these shows. Well, TV Land did the same thing. And when I first heard that this show was going to be on TV Land, I said, no way.
Yeah.
Can't be. I mean, there's just like, they show Golden Girls, which I love the Golden Girls. But they really did want to change, and they have with this script, with this show. I think it's the edgiest thing they have on their network.
Yeah.
And, we do a little bit of everything, and it's dark and it's twisted, and they let us swear, and, people are really shocked when they see it. They're like, how is this on TV
Right.
then? Well, it is.
Listen, Michael, real quick before we go, social media. It's got to be your fans love connecting with you on social media. So what's the craziest fan story that you've had lately to come out of social media? Crazy fans connecting with you.
The only thing I could think of, maybe not with social media, but I got home and there was a note on my door that said, hey, I saw you leaving the bowling alley, so I followed you back. Here's my number.
Okay, Michael, maybe
I didn't even bowl that well, Casey.
Maybe you do need my help getting a date. Do not respond to this one. I've got the single friends. I will help you out, okay, Michael?
All right, make sure they're Albuquerque.
Albuquerque. Michael Rosenbaum, a pleasure. So it's a great show, and Pastor, you got to check it out on TV Land. And fun fact, go ahead.
Yeah, Khalil's sister is actually in the show. Khalil, he usually fills in whenever you're unable to make it to work that day.
Yes, thanks.
Has a day off, is a slacker, the Casey thing.
The Casey thing. Oh, great. Okay, but she plays the sheriff, and yeah, she's a fun character. She's always trying to take the pastor down. So.
And that's Khalil A. Colonna who fills in for Casey.
Yes.
That's his sister.
Yes.
And also, there's one of my favorite interviews from this year. Also has a very personal connection. Tig Notaro, she's a comedian, stand-up comedian. Her new show, One Mississippi, is kind of about her personal life. But before I got to do this interview, I wanted to introduce her to my girlfriend, who's also a cancer survivor, who's also a stand-up comedian. And during the time of this interview, my girlfriend was going through chemotherapy and was able to put him on the phone. She was starstruck. Then immediately after, I got my interview on. But here's a little bit from my Tig Notaro interview, and I want to thank her for just being so wonderfully awesome.
This is my girlfriend. She is a 2-time cancer survivor, currently diagnosed for cancer a 3rd time, currently going through chemo, and she's also a stand-up comedian, Miss Holly Bird.
Wow.
Hi, Tig.
Hi. That's a lot.
Yeah, a little bit. You're my hero, so I'm kind of freaking out.
Well, I mean, I am really blown away by what I just heard, and I hope that you're doing all right.
I'm hanging in there. I'm doing good. Doing good.
And you do stand-up?
I do. You're actually, you're my motivation for actually getting on stage the first time.
Wow. Well, thank you.
No, thank you.
And how's stand-up going?
You know, it's stand-up.
Yeah.
It's going really well. It's just I'm poor a lot. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Stand-up's hit or miss.
It is. It is. It's fun, though. I love it. It's the best thing I ever decided to do. So.
Well, good.
Cool. Well, see, I just wanted to get you guys together because Holly was, like, glowing towards me about how big of a hero you are to her. And I was like, oh, well, I think I have an interview with her next week, so let's see if I can put you guys together on the phone for at least 2 minutes.
Very sly. Good work, Dan.
That's what I do.
All right, and that was my interview with Tig Notaro. I want to thank her for that. That's really amazing.
Very cool of you. Nice to meet you. All right, coming up here on Good Evening, New Mexico, if Mr. Scrooge had ghosts, who would he be calling? Hey guys, welcome back. All right, we're jumping right in. I'm just going on the niceness track here because these next two were so sweet. They were joking around before this interview. Ashley told me what she really wants to be doing instead of acting. Take a look. Well, to me, my next two guests will be forever. Victoria from How I Met Your Mother and Eddie on Friends. Remember Chandler's crazy roommate?
Wait, forever?
Forever.
Oh, Casey.
Is that not
Casey.
true? Why not?
Forever.
Should I?
No.
I don't know, because I'm feeling a little suicide-y.
No, listen.
Wait, you
everybody
were really
loved
good on
I
Friends.
was really good in that 39 years ago.
No, but you know what? You haven't aged a bit, so it's a compliment.
Right.
Agreed.
Okay. All right.
Take it. Take
okay.
the compliment.
All right. Okay. I think I'd rather be. I actually can't think of another character I've played, so I can't even.
And all these kiddos. I mean, it's hard to keep up with all these kiddos. And for Jim and
Luckily, I'm not around them a lot because in real life, I'm not a huge fan of the disease.
What disease?
Just the disease, like disease is a thing.
Oh, like sickness?
Yeah,
that children
sickness.
have?
Yeah.
Right.
Ashley.
I love disease.
Yeah, so she licks their little faces.
I mean, there's a lot. I kiss their foreheads constantly,
Yeah.
and I love children, so I like it when they climb on me, and it means I'm in the right job because my character has 5 children. So.
I mean, I have a child in real life, but I make him wear a little suit, so his hands are always covered and his face is covered. And he's got little he can breathe through his little nose. It's really sweet,
That's so generous.
But we did
of
it in
you.
like all selvage denim, so he looks like really cool.
legit. Listen,
Yeah,
you're wrapping me up. I know you guys have a busy day. Thank you guys for being just the best two
Please don't go,
couples
Casey.
ever.
Casey, can you just come hang with us?
I do.
Please.
Listen, Ashley, anytime you want to come here, sit in this hosting chair, it is yours, girlfriend. Anytime.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. It's got
Can
your
I
name
have
on it.
6 a.m. to 9 a.m.?
Yes, you can. Anytime.
I'm seriously going to follow up.
Yes, let's do it. Ashley Williams,
Okay.
Adam Goldberg,
I
the
feel like
lovely
she's
and
not serious
talented. All right, those guys are too much fun. Adam and Ashley from the Jim Gaffigan Show. Another one you got to check out.
And coming up in a little bit, we're going to check out what Mr. Scrooge is up to.
Marley! To Good Evening, New Mexico. All right, one of my favorite interviews this year was when I got personal with Ellen Page. And actually, she opened up and answered a question that I didn't think she would be like. It's one of those. I felt bad asking the question because I put out to my Twitter.
Asked it.
Well, I put out on my Twitter and asked people, hey, if you had a question for Ellen Page, what would you ask? And she's, can you ask your coming out story? And before the interview, I jumped on. I was like, hey, Ellen, is it any way I could just ask you this question? And she was like, this is so sweet for you to just ask me because I didn't want, like, I want you to ask me. I want people to know my story, and because there are people out there that struggle with this. So I got to ask the question, and she was such an awesome and wonderful and loving person that it was Ellen Page and Ian Daniel on their show Gaycation. So there you go. Let's take a peek. My next guest has starred in a flick about teenage pregnancy and sang as well as a couple of Moldy Peaches. She also befriended a Wolverine, took down a pedophile, skated her way to glory, and designed some amazing dreams, emphasis on amazing. She's also paving way for the LGBTQ community and is traveling the world with her BFF Ian Daniel for Viceland. So I got to welcome her and her BFF to the show, Ellen Page and Ian Daniel.
Hey. Good. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
So you guys have this new show for Viceland called Gaycation. What is the show all about, and why do you think this show is important for the LGBTQ community on a global scale?
Well, the show is really just about us traveling the world, going to a country and exploring the LGBTQ culture community in that country. We went to Japan, Brazil, Jamaica, and the United States. And, you know, really what we're trying to do is go and explore every aspect of what it means to be a member of the community in that country. The victories, the triumphs, the joy, the day-to-day life, and also the struggles and the devastation that some people face.
I asked for questions on social media, and I had a couple of people ask me to ask you this question. I know it's very personal, but what was it like to come out as a celebrity? How was it at home with family, friends, or even colleagues? What advice do you have for those who might be thinking about or considering doing so themselves? Are there any positive, negatives, or things that they should expect?
Yeah. Well, for me, it's the best decision I've ever made. Changed my life, happier than I could have ever even imagined. You know, pretty much everyone in my personal life knew I was gay. You know, that was sort of the last step. And you know, I'm fortunate to be in a position where I received so much love and support, and now I'm just incredibly happy and don't know why I didn't make the decision sooner. I think it's not always totally easy giving advice to people because you never know someone's personal situation. You know, someone could be in a situation where if they come out, they could face serious violence, you know, so they could be young and in a household where it's dangerous, or they'll be kicked out and then, you know, potentially homeless. And you know, 40% of homeless youth in this country are members of the LGBTQ community. But I feel like if you're in a position where you're wanting to come out and you're feeling ready to do that, oh my God, absolutely do it. Just absolutely do it. It's been, you know, unequivocally the best decision I've ever made.
All right, coming up on Good Evening New Mexico, Mr. Scrooge, and he's fighting ghosts. Ooh. Welcome back, guys. I'm jumping into one of my interviews, which also probably is one of Dan's favorites, because he's talked to this guy a number of times.
He's wonderful.
I don't even know how he let me have this interview that day, but this is with Bruce Campbell from Ash vs. Evil Dead. I started my interview telling him, Bruce, I've been a big fan of yours since 2 days ago when I found out I was doing this interview. So I think he appreciated my, you know.
And Casey was on the phone with me the whole time. Hey, tell me all about Bruce. I'm like, I'm a super fan. Here's all this stuff, Case.
But he was a delight. So take a look. Bruce Campbell.
Hello, Albuquerque.
Thank you for saying that. They love you here. Have you been here?
I just made a movie. I made a movie last year in Gallup.
Oh, excellent. Well, listen, you got to come back through, and we'll do a whole half-hour special, All Good Things Bruce.
I'm there.
Excellent. Bruce, I want to start. Can you actually take us back to day one? You meet Sam Raimi, your good buddy, or this love-hate now with your good buddy since he tortures you in all these, you know, television series and films. Can you take us back to day one?
Day one was actually in junior high school. I was walking down the hallway and saw Sam Raimi dressed like Sherlock Holmes playing with dolls. And I remember very specifically going, okay, that guy's a weirdo. I'm going way around that Joker. A couple years later, I dropped typing class because it sucked. And then I got into radio speech, and Sam was in that class. We started to do morning announcements, and then he started to insult me, and people thought that was funny, so he went with it.
And the insults since that day haven't stopped, have they? He still finds way to poke you.
No, Sam punishes me. Sam thinks that me being punished entertains the audience.
Well,
so that's what he does. Thankfully, he's getting older now, so it's harder for him to do it.
Good. Bruce, let's do this now. Somebody like my sweet little mom who has not watched Ash versus Evil Dead, how would you convince my sweet little mom to watch it? I'm just going to tell her how charming you are. That's going to convince her. But how would you convince her?
Sweet little mom, this might not be the show for you. Oh. Yeah, I'm just going to be straight with you. It's not for everybody, but I would say this to Mom. If you don't like the carnage, stay for the humor.
Okay.
Because we have what we call splat stick. It's horror, but there's a little comedy thrown in. So maybe Ma will like that part. You can fast forward through the incredibly gross carnage and mayhem.
Okay.
And you can rewind the funny parts for her. Okay. You know, put a little mixtape together for her.
All right, last but not least, Bruce, so who are you voting for?
There's no way I'm going to tell you that, and here's why. Because Republicans and Democrats both buy my DVDs.
Ah, good answer.
So I wouldn't want to remove 50% of my clients by saying one stupid thing.
There you go. And we still don't know who he voted for on that one.
No, nope. And also shout outs to your mom, Kim.
Dear sweet little mom is what he said. He was so cute.
Dear sweet little mom, Kim.
Gotta love Bruce.
Oh, I love her.
All right, guys, stick around. There's more Good Evening New Mexico coming right up. All right, guys, welcome back. Danny Boy jumping right in with some Oscar predictions on this one, too.
All right, this movie is one that I believe is going to walk away with the best animation. So circle that when you start doing your Oscar polls. It is Zootopia. And the thing about this movie and this interview that I did was that I was completely unprepared. I'm a terrible interviewer because when I walked into this one, I had nothing prepared other than the fact that I did see the movie.
Well, that's 90% of the work. See the movie.
So the next 3 minutes is me just telling Nate Torrance, the guy who plays the puffy cat guy in the police station, how much I loved his movie and that I didn't want to spoil it for anyone, so I didn't want to talk about it. So I just sat on the phone with him and just like, all right, we're going to hang out. This is one of the best movies Disney has ever made. Oh, I'm being completely honest about it, Nate.
Awesome, man. I'll take it. I'm right with you, buddy. And I know I'm in it. but even it's funny as an actor, you learn to separate yourself of what's good and what's not. And boy, I feel the same way. It's a pretty cool movie, man. It's great. It lives up to the hype.
I was totally blown away. I walked into this film, sat down. I had no idea what I was coming into, and you yourself play a fancy fit feline that works at a police force, right?
Yeah, you know it. I work the receptionist desk at the Zootopia Police Department.
It's completely fantastic. I'm just going to sit here for the next couple of minutes and gloat about how amazing this movie is. How did you get involved with the project? When did they come to you and say, like, hey, Nate, jump on in to be this little tiger thing?
Yeah, I was lucky enough that they had seen me in a television show I was on at the time called Mr. Sunshine, and just like the character I was playing, and they were in the very beginning stages. This was 4.5 years ago, and asked me to come in for a table read that they were just presenting it to the creative staff. And John Lasseter was there, and they asked me to read for Clawhauser, and from that moment I've been lucky enough to stay on the project through all the rewrites and character changes. They kept my character in, and yeah, so it was just from the very beginning, and just a phone call of, are you available this weekend to come do Disney a favor? And I was like, absolutely.
That's just one offer you just don't turn down.
No, that's
like
exactly.
The Godfather put a horse head in your bed or something.
It is so true. I freaked out, honestly, when I heard it, because animation, that's just a very small world. It's a very respected world. There's a lot of talent there, so it's hard to crack into and break into. So I'm so thankful. I've been enjoying every moment. And then to have the payoff that Zootopia does is really special.
Good hanging out. Looks like you two could throw back a few and chill, right?
Hey, at least I didn't mess that interview up too much.
All right, guys, don't go away. There's more Good Evening New Mexico when we return.
Who are you? Who do you want? You don't recognize your old partner, Jacob Marley?
All right, guys, welcome back. Okay, I'm taking us back to February when I interviewed Louis Anderson for Baskets. He plays a woman on this show. He kind of took inspiration from his own little mom. How sweet is that? Zach Galifianakis is in the show. Go ahead.
He just won an award for Critics' Choice Awards. Yes, he did for this role.
He was so sweet. And again, the kindness going on. He was such a doll. And one of my favorite movies, probably my top 5 all-time favorite movies, is Coming to America, Eddie Murphy.
Good movie.
He's, washing the lettuce. And I asked him about this movie because he still has fond memories of making Coming to America, because he said Eddie was so sweet. The crowds that came out for Eddie while they were filming in Queens. But this was really kind of what gave him his big break in Coming to America. So check him out talking about Baskets. Louis, can we take a walk down memory lane? One of my favorite movies is Coming to America. You played a great role, an almost fry cook. Do you have fond memories of making that movie?
Oh, man, that was the most fun. That was my true entree into fame. I was with Eddie Murphy, probably the most famous comedian at the time. And, there'd be 5,000 people outside the McDowell's in Queens when we were shooting. And the fence would all bow in because he was so famous.
Yeah.
Whenever he'd show up and get out of his trailer, people would go, ooh, and move forward. And it was a great experience. And I learned so much, and I had so much fun. And John Landis, he directed it. And I heard through the grapevine that Kevin Hart is thinking about redoing it. And somebody said to me, would you reprise your role? I go, yes, because I'm still working my way up there.
Yes, that's where the big bucks come in, right? 1 to 2 years, the big bucks,
That's
assistant
right.
manager, yes.
That's when the big bucks start rolling in.
All right, Danny Boy, take it away.
All right, this one is one of the interviews that I've always wanted to do. This man is a legend, a living legend. All I could say was, all I have to say is, I had tears in my eyes. You can look very closely. I was welling up the entire time. I was so nervous to say anything to this guy because it is Mr. Stan Lee. So watch me just have a fanboy panic moment all right now.
Today I have the absolute honor to talk with a living legend. He's the mastermind behind Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, the X-Men, and the list goes on and on. He is the single highest grossing filmmaker in history, that's a little tidbit, and one of his first jobs was writing obituaries. And since then, he has changed the world, combining literacy with imagination. So I have to welcome to the show, Mr. Stan Lee. How are you?
Okay, that was one of the nicest welcomes I've ever had. Thank you so much.
No problem. I'm enamored right now because I'm actually talking to you. How does it feel to know that you had a large part in developing young minds in the country over the last 60 years, throughout the joy of reading comics?
Well, when I hear it spoken like you mentioned, it obviously makes me feel real good. If that's the case, as a writer, if I can write something that somebody enjoys, that brings pleasure to a reader or a group of readers, that's the best reward you can get, besides the money, of course.
Well, Stan Lee, it's a complete and absolute honor to be able to talk with you, and I'm enamored. I'm about ready to cry, honestly.
And bucket list check for Danny Boy.
Oh, I'm stoked. I'm still welling up after seeing that.
All right,
oh, my goodness.
When we come back, Dan hopefully has dried up his tears from Mr. Stan Lee, but there's more here on Good Evening New Mexico. We'll be right back.
Oh, wow.
Listen to me. I'm the ghost of Christmas Past, and I'm here to help you. Hey guys, welcome back. Okay, we're kind of giving you now a behind the scenes of our holiday special. In January, Dan says, hey guys, let's start thinking now about our holiday special. This idea he's had for about 2 years, I'd say.
And here it is. I wanted to do, let's imagine it was 1986, and we're looking forward into 1987. I know that's really weird, but it's like a 30-year anniversary. But we're just doing a weird parody of Good Day New Mexico from 30 years ago.
So I'm not Casey Messer, I am Kim Messer, my mom.
Which is fantastic. And the other thing is that Leonard Maltin and Gray Drake, senior editor of Rotten Tomatoes, and Leonard Maltin, who's a movie critic, they filmed their show in our studio probably every quarter. And one time I was asking, hey, do you want to help us with our holiday special? And they were like, we're in. So these two, Leonard and Gray, totally helped us out. Did a segment for us in 1986, looking ahead to some of the movies of 1987. And all those movies were just terrible movies in 87, which they sounded really excited for. It made me laugh as a movie guy. But the one ambitious project that we really were working on was this A Christmas Carol meets the Ghostbusters, which is very fun because I thought, what would happen if Ghostbusters were real and Scrooge was real? And what if Scrooge just picked up the phone and called the Ghostbusters to eradicate the problem? This is the result.
And now, your feature presentation, A Christmas Carol, a pop culture parody.
Mr. Scrooge was a ducky old man. If he could, he would dive headfirst into his riches and bathe in every ducat or dollar he owned.
6,752. 6,700. Come in.
The new TPS report, sir.
Give it here.
The boys are wondering if we could go home early today, sir.
No, no, no. This is the old cover sheet. Did you not get my memo?
Yes, sir. I have a copy of it right here. It's just redrafting the cover sheet will take all night, sir, and it's Christmas Eve.
All TPS reports must have the new cover sheet.
Yes, sir, but, well, it's freezing outside, sir, and tomorrow's Christmas, and everywhere else is closed, and we can't even file the report until they get back from the holiday.
Christmas. Humbug. I expect you'll want tomorrow off as well.
It is a bank holiday, sir.
That is a poor excuse to pick a man's pocket. Tell everyone they can go home.
Thank you, Mr. Scrooge. Thank you. Merry Christmas, sir.
But you'll have to finish the TPS reports correctly with the new cover sheet before you go.
Yes.
And I'll see you first thing in the morning.
Of course, sir.
Oh, and Bob.
Sir?
Take this.
Sir?
You said it was freezing outside. Burn that. Consider it your Christmas bonus.
Thank you, sir. Merry Christmas.
Who's there?
I've got a gun.
You don't have a gun.
If you're from the Tribune, I'll shoot.
So you would not hurt a fly.
Show yourself.
Well then, turn around.
Go away, demon from hell.
Oh, you're hurting me. You can't hurt me. I'm dead.
You ungodly beast! Who are you? What do you want?
You don't recognize your old partner, Jacob Marley?
Marley? Jacob Marley? Is that you?
In life, I was chained to wealth, chained to my desk, trying to earn another dollar. But where I am from, a single penny is worth the same as a mountain of gold.
Why are you here?
I'm here to warn you.
Humbug. Speak comfort, my friend.
There is no comfort where I am from. You are looking at your fate. But it doesn't have to be. Tonight.
Speak, my dear friend. Speak.
As a friend, I will tell you this. You will be visited by 3 ghosts.
Ghosts? Ghosts, you say?
Expect the first one. When the bell tolls 1.
Can they not come all at once and have it over with?
Expect the second. When the bell tolls 2. Expect the third. When the bell tolls 3. This is your future. Your future. For your own sake. Remember what has passed between us. Look to see me.
What can be done? Jacob Marley. Marley.
Are you troubled by strange noises in the middle of the night?
Do you experience fear and dread in your basement or attic? Has you or a family member ever seen an apparition, spook, or ghost?
If the answer is yes, don't wait another minute. Pick up the phone and call a professional.
Our courteous and efficient staff are on call 24 hours a day to serve your supernatural elimination needs. And we have balloons for the kids.
You bet.
So, don't wait. Make your supernatural problem our supernatural problem. Because we're ready to believe you. Believe you.
We got one! Scrooge, listen to me. I'm the ghost of Christmas past, and I'm here to help you. Scrooge, listen to me. I'm the ghost of
Sir, help me! This form authorizes us for the containment and removal of a Class 4 manifestation. Also, it releases all liability of any damages to location. Anything. There's a couple of spots you need to tag for billing purposes. Credit card information, all that. Billing? Yeah. How much?
Ebenezer.
Ah! Ah! Anything.
Mr. Scrooge, why don't you get some sleep? We've got it from here, okay? Merry Christmas.
Christmas? Humbug.
Bah humbug indeed. Good night.
I'm alive. You, child, what day is it?
Well, it's Christmas, sir.
Perfect. Do you know if the corner store has sold their prize goose yet?
You mean the one as big as me, sir?
Yes. Go and buy it for me.
But I have no money.
Take this.
This is more than enough, Mr. Scrooge.
Then bring me all my change, you miserable little rat.
Of course, Mr. Scrooge.
Oh, mares eat oats and does eat oats and little lambs eat ivy. Kit'll eat ivy too, wouldn't you? Nobody eats ivy.
Mr. Scrooge.
Ah, Cratchit, my dear friend.
Oh, you seem like you're in a terrific mood today, sir. Did you get a good night's sleep?
Of course I did. But you're late.
Yes, sir. My son, Tim, we had to take him to the hospital this morning. He's terribly ill. We don't know if he'll make it through the year.
I do know what I'm going to have to do.
Well, sir, if I could perhaps go home early today, well, that would be so generous of you.
It is Christmas. You can go home early. Because you're fired!
Well, you can't fire me. I quit.
Bah humbug to you and to your whole family. Bah humbug! Bah humbug, world! Bah humbug, typewriter! Bah humbug, chair! Bah humbug, hat, cane! Bah humbug!
Aw, man, who fed Tiny Tim after midnight?
Well, cheers to you, my friend. That's a lot of hard work. A cheers to our crew because we are a small staff, but everybody wore many hats to make this project happen. We finally did it, so you guys are awesome.
We want to shout out like Alex Volek, Will McCarsky, Phil Gunn, Jess Despain, Bernadette Martinez, Khalil A. Colonna, Jason Carter, all the other people that helped us out.
Well.
And Casey Messer, there you go. I want to shout them all out for all the great work that they do each and every year.
Yes. I have to say, too, a big thanks to Hotel Andaluz for hosting us this evening.
And
we
Chris
love
Jacoby,
the hotel.
yeah,
Chris Jacoby's awesome. Come see them here at the hotel. It's beautiful.
All right.
All right, guys,
To the
stay
ball drop.
safe. Happy New Year. We'll see you in 2017.
And all the stupid things we could get into there.
Cheers, guys. Thanks.
Thank you.